An albatross around your neck. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. These phrases are deeply embedded in our language, even if we rarely stop to consider their horrific maritime origins. In 1798, Samuel Taylor Coleridge published Lyrical Ballads, a collection that would help launch the English Romantic movement. Within its pages lay The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. The story opens with a creepy, glittering-eyed sailor who physically detains a man on his way to a wedding, forcing him to listen to a harrowing tale of a voyage gone wrong. The poem serves as a profound psychological exploration of human guilt. Coleridge takes the familiar maritime ghost story, mapping the internal wreckage of a man who has broken a fundamental law of existence. This 1775 chart of the southern extremity of America shows the limits of known exploration at the time. Coleridge sends his mariner into these blank, icy voids, where the ship becomes hopelessly trapped in the terrifying, crushing ice of the Antarctic. Out of the freezing mist, a majestic albatross appears. The crew hails it in God's name, believing it to be a good omen. For 9 days, the bird guides them through the ice and fog, becoming a beloved companion to the desperate sailors. Suddenly, and without any logical provocation at all, the mariner raises his heavy crossbow, takes aim, and shoots the bird dead. This academic paper highlights a modern eco-critical touch used to reread the poem today. This framework interprets the mariner's violence as an early literary representation of humanity's destructive impulse toward the natural world. The mariner has committed a senseless, arrogant crime against a living protector. Now, the environment itself begins to shift. The atmospheric consequences are immediate. The ship drifts into uncharted equatorial waters, where the wind completely dies, leaving the men trapped in a static, suffocating silence. A bloody sun hangs overhead as dehydration sets in. The sailors watch as grotesque, slimy things crawl upon a sea that appears to be rotting. The crew needs a target for their misery. They hang the dead albatross around the mariner's neck, creating a heavy physical marker of his guilt that he is forced to carry every moment of the day. The environment has transformed into an active antagonist. It reflects the deep-seated anxiety that arises when the natural world, once a source of life, becomes hostile in response to human violation. A ghostly skeleton ship appears on the horizon. On its deck, 2 figures, Death and Life in Death, play a game of dice for the souls of the crew. Death wins the crew, but Life in Death wins the mariner. In this Doré illustration, the crew drops dead, leaving the mariner in agonizing isolation. Left alone with 200 corpses, their open eyes are fixed in a silent, accusatory stare, preventing any peace. In his despair, the mariner notices water snakes swimming in the shadow of the ship. He sees the flash of golden fire in their tracks and finally recognizes their inherent beauty. He blesses them unaware. At that moment of spontaneous reverence for life, the spell begins to break. The dead albatross falls from his neck and sinks like lead into the sea. Salvation begins with a shift in perspective. The mariner moves from seeing nature as a resource to be mastered, or a nuisance to be killed, to seeing it as something worthy of love. A supernatural rescue follows. Angelic spirits reanimate the bodies of the dead crew to pilot the ship back home, though the ship eventually sinks in a massive whirlpool. Even back on land, the mariner is not entirely free. He is gripped by an eternal, agonizing compulsion to wander the earth and retell his story to those who need to hear it. His ultimate message is clear. He prayeth best, who loveth best, all things both great and small. Coleridge connects spiritual health directly to how we treat the smallest creatures in our care. The mariner's curse resides in the inescapable psychological weight of memory, the knowledge that he destroyed something innocent for no reason at all. Coleridge wanted to achieve a willing suspension of disbelief. By grounding the supernatural in raw emotion, He created a visceral reality that artists like Gustave Doré would later capture in these haunting images. This 18th century maritime poem captures an early sense of ecological vulnerability. It suggests that our survival is tied to the health of the things we often choose to ignore. Today, we are all the mariner. We carry the weight of our own exploitation of the world, needing to respect nature before the ice finally disappears.